Hello, my name is John Bird. 21 years ago in London, I got a multi-millionaire to give me £500,000 to get capitalism off the hook. Capitalism wasn't doing very well with homeless people, and it wasn't doing very well in removing people who were slipping into homelessness in London. London was full. Thousands of homeless people were in doorways and everywhere, and I wanted to get capitalism off the hook. What I mean by that is I wanted to be a provider. If you're a provider, then you have no political opinions. You have to suspend your political opinions, and you have to become a public person. So if you're providing for people in desperate need, you have to duck and dive and bob and weave, and you have to be there for them. And whether you have been a Marxist, Leninist, Engelist, Trotskyist, as I was, a Meltist, or whether I had been at some stage a racist Catholic, or whether I had been a rough sleeper and a homeless person myself and absolutely hated capitalism, I had to put that all to one side and go and talk to people like the Prime Minister and all these other people. So I started something called The Big Issue, a street paper modeled on an American paper. And our sales went astronomical. And within a very short space of time, we were working with thousands of people all over the United Kingdom. And then we had people come from Germany, from France, from Italy, from Japan, from Korea, from North America and South America saying, "What will you do for us?" Our intervention to get capitalism off the hook was a very simple thing. What we did say was, instead of giving the homeless handouts, instead of giving the poor handouts, we're going to give them what the middle class love. And what the middle class love is the opportunity to prove themselves and earn their own money and grow and move from being dependent on mother's pocket money into being independent livers. And I wanted to give the people I came from the same opportunities that I had, because I was in my 40s and I was a posh guy with living with a woman who had a mortgage, God bless her. And I had this wonderful opportunity to give the homeless something brand new, because the world had conspired against the poor by giving them handouts and keeping them enslaved and keeping them down and ever poor, so that people could feel good and say, "I love the poor." Fuck the poor. I don't love the poor. What I love is a poor person who's becoming something else. Anyway, 21 years ago, we had a paper. The paper's great. But in those 21 years, the world has moved on. People don't buy so many papers. People want something else. And I've been racking my brain. How can I get the poor off the streets from selling papers? If any one of you sold papers because you were destitute, you will meet people who will try and prostitute you. You'll meet people who try and steal from you. You'll meet people who will try and get whatever they can from you. So the worst place for homeless people and destitute people is to be on the streets. So now, 21 years later, we're tapping into this wonderful world of technology, because technology is the way that we can correct poverty in an enormously new and vibrant sort of way. Why is it that all over Africa, the mobile phone has transformed the lives of so many people? Why is it that the last thing a homeless person will give up is their mobile phone? Because their mobile phone gives them the chance to be a bit like you and me and have communications and move on. In November, we launch a website. We've launched a page turner, and it's called Answers from Big Issue. And Answers from Big Issue is very simple. Because what I'm doing is I'm taking a homeless person who's like a town crier, standing there selling a paper, whether it's in Sydney, whether it's in Johannesburg, or whether it's in St. Petersburg. And I'm giving that homeless person to become a content provider. So I'm giving them a nice middle-class job, because selling papers isn't a particularly nice middle-class job. And I'm giving this person the chance to use an iPhone and to go out and visit social answers, people who are getting people out of trouble, going to see people who have invented new ways of dealing with poverty and to deal with social inclusion. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the most destitute of people who are stuck in poverty, and I'm giving them the chance that we all look forward to, where the gap between the rich and the poor can be addressed, where all these other things can be addressed, because we're turning the homeless into content providers. We've got a magazine, a page turner. It's a rough little thing. Have a look at it. It's called Answers from Big Issue. It's a bit of a pile of shit at the moment, but you know it takes a bit of time to get things right. When we launch in November, we will be doing two things at the same time. We will be helping the homeless to help themselves get off the streets and move over, but at the other side, we will be shining a light on a lot of corporate social responsibility programs where you can get a company like Goldman Sachs who will invest in social products as a part of their corporate aim, but nobody knows about it. So at the same time, what we're doing is we're shining a light on projects all over the world. A prison in Mexico City where the recidivism rate was about 97%, and it's been reduced to about 13% because the warden has decided that they're going to produce art and crafts and sell it in various shops throughout Mexico City. An enormous opportunity, a situation where very, very drunk men who cost the state and the local authority millions of pounds a year because they were always in prison or always in the hospital. And they've been removed, and for the last 5 years they've remained sober. Absolutely fantastic. The opportunities are wonderful. I'd just like to end on one point, because I'm sure I've gone over 5 minutes. Am I all right? All right, oh great, God bless you. The last thing, we need to change the way we give. We need to ask questions. We need to converge the energy of giving. About 25% of the population of the UK are involved in some form of working with charities or working with the National Health Service. The National Health Service is the biggest employer in the UK. The charity section is enormous, but it has to get better at it. And we need to converge the energies, and we need to bring those energies together. And we need to find a way of dismantling poverty and not having all these bright lights all over the place. And the web and the telephone and all these things that we're using will enable us to produce a better tomorrow for the poorest people on the planet. Thank you very much.